My girlfriend happily told me that she was going out for coffee with her ex and that I wouldn't be coming with her. I casually replied, "All right." The moment she left, I took the receipt from my wallet, got the full deposit for the ring refunded, and packed my things. When she came back and saw what I was doing, it was like her entire world stopped. I'm 30 years old, and I've spent the last 6 years with someone I genuinely thought I'd marry. Her name was Catherine. We met at a friend's birthday party in 2018, and honestly, it was one of those cliché instant connection moments. She was funny, intelligent, and had this way of making you feel like you were the only person in the room. I fell hard and fast, and for years, everything felt right. We moved in together after 2 years. Got a dog. Built routines. Talked about kids and houses and retirement plans. Last year, I bought a ring, spent more than I should have, but I was ready to propose. I had it all planned out. A trip to the mountains, a hiking trail she loved, sunset. The works. I was waiting for the right moment, which I now understand was the most idiotic thing I could have done. 3 weeks before I'm supposed to propose, Catherine casually mentions at dinner that an old boyfriend, James, had reached out to her on Instagram. She said he was in town for a few days and wanted to catch up for coffee. I barely registered what she was saying at first because we were watching something on Netflix. "That's cool," I said, not really thinking about it. "You don't mind, right?" she asked, and that's when something in her voice made me look up. "Why would I mind?" I replied, "I don't know. Some guys get weird about exes," she said with a smile. "But James is just a friend now. It's nothing. Here's the thing, I'm not the jealous type. Never have been. I trust easily, maybe too easily." Catherine knew this about me, which, looking back now, was probably part of the problem. "No, go ahead. Have fun," I said. She smiled and kissed the top of my head. "I'll probably be gone for like 2 hours. Max 3. The date was a Saturday. When she left around 11 a.m., I was in the kitchen making lunch. She'd already showered and changed 3 times, which I noticed, but didn't flag as strange. I told myself she just wanted to look nice, as anyone would meeting an old friend. She left in a good mood, almost too good. I spent the first hour doing nothing in particular. Around noon, I got restless and went to grab my wallet. That's when I saw it. The receipt for the engagement ring was still in there. It was folded up, dated from 2 months ago, with the full amount printed clearly at the bottom. $4,800. For some reason I'll never fully understand, I opened the Notes app on my phone and started writing down what I was feeling. Not because I was paranoid, but because something felt off. The way she'd asked me if I minded. The unnecessary shower. The way she'd mentioned that James was in town for a few days, as if she'd be seeing him multiple times. I told myself I was being crazy, paranoid, but the feeling didn't go away. Time moved slowly that day. I kept checking my phone for a text from her. She usually sent me random updates throughout the day. Today, nothing. At 1:30 p.m., I told myself they were just having a good conversation. At 2 p.m., I told myself the coffee shop was probably busy. At 2:45 p.m., I started to feel sick. At 3:15 p.m., she texted, "Hey babe, this is taking longer than expected. Still having a good time catching up. I'll be home by 5. "Okay, no problem," I replied immediately. But something in me had already shifted. By 4:30 p.m., I'd made a decision. I took the ring receipt out of my wallet. I looked at it for a long time. Then I called the jeweler's number at the bottom and explained that I needed to cancel the purchase and request a refund. The woman on the phone was kind about it, but asked if everything was okay. I lied and said I'd changed my mind about the proposal timeline. She processed the refund, and just like that, $4,800 went back to my account. I sat on the couch afterward and felt something I'd never felt before. It wasn't anger exactly. It was certainty. The kind of certainty that comes from your gut when it's about to be proven right in the worst possible way. I opened my bedroom closet and pulled down my large duffel bag. I started putting things into it. Not angrily, not frantically, but methodically. Clothes, toiletries, my laptop, important documents. I worked quietly, deliberately. Some part of me was still hoping I was wrong. Another part of me was finally making its move. You see, I'd noticed things before this day. Texts that would come through late at night from unknown numbers. Catherine mentioning James's name more frequently in casual conversation. Her being suddenly more conscious about her appearance, getting her hair cut and highlighted. I'd pushed it all down, convinced myself I was being paranoid, Told myself that loving someone meant trusting them even when your instincts screamed otherwise. At 4:58 p.m., her car pulled into the driveway. I was standing in the living room with my duffel bag beside me. My heart was racing so hard I thought I might actually have a heart attack. She came through the door, and her face went pale when she saw the bag. What is that?" she asked, barely above a whisper. "I got the deposit refunded on the ring," I said, my voice surprisingly calm. "You can have the apartment. I'll keep the dog. Are you fucking serious right now?" Her shock transformed into anger almost instantly. "What the hell is happening?" "You're welcome to tell me," I said. "You can start with why you were gone for almost 6 hours instead of 3. Her face flushed red. "We lost track of time. We were just talking. Catherine, stop." She did stop. She just stared at me. "I don't need you to explain," I continued. "I don't even want you to explain. But I need you to know that I'm done. Whatever this is with James, wherever it's going, I'm not going to be in this relationship anymore." "You're making the biggest mistake of your life," she said, and her voice cracked. "Maybe," I replied. "But it's not this one." I grabbed my bag and walked toward the door. Update 1: the first week was weird. Daniel didn't ask questions, which I appreciated. I slept on his couch, went to work, came home, and felt absolutely nothing. People talk about heartbreak like it's intense pain, but what I experienced was worse. It was numbness mixed with a strange satisfaction that I'd been right all along. On Thursday, Catherine called me 7 times. I didn't answer. She sent texts alternating between begging me to come home and calling me cruel for leaving without a proper explanation. By Friday, she'd switched tactics entirely. "You never made me feel special anyway," one text read. "James actually knows how to treat a woman." That one made me laugh. I went back to the apartment on Saturday morning when Catherine was at work. I packed up the rest of my belongings systematically. Took half of the furniture we'd bought together. I was firm but fair about it. I also took the dog, and no, I wasn't going to fight with her about it. Catherine came home early that day. She must have called work. She found me loading the last boxes into Daniel's truck. "You're taking Benson?" she asked, and she sounded broken. "Yeah, I am," I said. "He's my dog. He's our dog." "Not anymore," I said. "Catherine, we're done. I'm making this as simple as possible. You keep the apartment. We'll split furniture when we talk to lawyers." "Lawyers?" Her voice went up an octave. "Yes, I need to formally end this." Update 2: the second week. Daniel insisted I get out of his apartment and do something normal. So I went back to the gym, something I hadn't done seriously in about a year because Catherine didn't like going. At the gym, I ran into a friend from college named Sophie. We'd stayed in touch loosely over the years. She asked what was new, and I probably shouldn't have been so honest, but I was raw, and she had a sympathetic face. "I just got out of a 6-year relationship," I told her. She was genuinely sorry to hear it, and we ended up grabbing lunch at the smoothie bar downstairs. We talked for 2 hours. She was going through her own breakup, actually. We bonded over the pain and stupidity of love, and for the first time since I'd left Catherine, I felt like I could breathe. During this time, Catherine had been texting Daniel asking him to convince me to talk to her. Daniel told me, but I wasn't interested. I'd said everything I needed to say, but I did something I'm not particularly proud of. I looked at Catherine's Instagram. She hadn't changed her relationship status yet. It still said, "in a relationship," but she had started liking pictures that James had posted. Recent ones. Selfies of them together at various coffee shops and restaurants. In one picture, they were holding hands across a table. I felt nothing looking at those pictures. Absolutely nothing. Update 3: about 3 weeks in, Catherine sent me a very different kind of message. Short, clear, professional. "I think we should talk. Can we meet up? I have some things I need to explain, and I don't think it's fair that you're making decisions based on assumptions." I almost ignored it, but part of me was curious. Not about her, but about whether she was going to try to manipulate me back into the relationship. We met at a coffee shop on a Tuesday afternoon. Neutral ground. She looked terrible. She'd lost weight, had dark circles under her eyes. I felt no satisfaction from this, no triumph. Just observation. "Thank you for coming," she said as we sat down. "What do you want to say?" I asked. "I wasn't sleeping with James," she said immediately. "I swear to you, I wasn't." "Okay. I'm serious. Yes, I met up with him. Yes, I felt something when I saw him. But nothing physical happened. We talked. We caught up. And I realized I was unhappy. With me?" I asked. With us, she said. I was feeling stuck and suffocated, and when James reached out, it felt like an escape. But I wasn't choosing him over you. I was confused. Why 6 hours? I asked. Why text me you'd be home by 5, and then not come home until after 5? She looked down at her cup. Because I wasn't sure what I was doing yet. I didn't want you to know because I didn't want to hurt you. I was trying to protect you. No, you were protecting yourself, I corrected. And Catherine, I get it. People feel attracted to other people sometimes. But what matters is what you do with those feelings. You chose to keep it secret. And that's not something I can come back from. Update 4. Final. It's been 4 months now. Catherine and I split everything down the middle legally. She kept the apartment. I took the dog and moved into a small house outside the city. It was a good move. James didn't last. Sophie told me through a mutual friend that Catherine had posted about a breakup 2 months after we'd broken up. James had gotten back with his ex-girlfriend. Catherine had been his rebound from his rebound. I don't feel angry anymore. I don't feel much of anything when I think about Catherine except maybe a distant sadness about all the wasted time. Sophie and I have been seeing each other for about 8 weeks now. It's early, and I'm taking it slow, but I'm not rushing into anything. I'm also not buying any rings anytime soon. I'm just existing, going to work, spending time with Benson, going to therapy to work through my abandonment issues and my tendency to overlook red flags. The refund on that ring is still sitting in my account. I haven't touched it. Don't know what I'll do with it yet. A friend asked me recently if I regretted how I handled the breakup. If maybe I should have tried harder to save the relationship. The truth is, no, I don't regret it. What I regret is spending 6 years with someone I should have broken up with after the first time I noticed something felt off. I regret not trusting my instincts earlier. I regret thinking that loving someone meant never questioning them, never standing up for myself, never believing that my needs mattered just as much as theirs. I'm 30 now, and it turns out that's not too old to learn that lesson. Edit 1. A lot of people have been asking if Catherine ever reached out again or tried to get back together. She did, actually. About 2 months ago, she texted me asking if we could talk about giving our relationship another shot. She said she'd realized what a mistake she made. I didn't respond. I still haven't. I don't think there's anything left to say. Edit 2. Several people asked about Benson. He's doing great. Never been happier. Sleeps on my bed, gets 2 walks a day, and is thriving in the new house. Catherine asked about him once, about 3 months in, and we arranged a video call where I let her see him. She cried, but we didn't talk about anything else.